Welcome back to another video. You'll probably be able to see that I'm back out in the forest. Is a location that I come to and I frequent quite a lot. It is only a 20-minute drive from where I live, and I don't want to drive any further because of the situation at the moment with the COVID-19. So it is a good place that I can come. I do know it's going to be quiet. You know, I come through the week and it's a lot quieter than the weekend. So it's a great excuse for me to get out and do some exercise, visit beautiful places like this. So I've came out this morning and I've decided I'm going to try out the 70-200 today. I have been shooting a lot with the 24mm lately, but what I'm finding is it's just that bit too wide. You know, you've got a lot of deadfall on the ground, you've got the sky coming in the shots, so going for that longer focal length, I'm going to be able to focus in on a bit more detail. So what I've noticed today is I've been walking past this tree here and it's got all this new growth on. So I'm going to photograph a section of that. You know, I want these white buds going from left to right, and I want to frame the shot using these green mosses and just see how it works out basically. I'm going to focus stack it because I am using the longer focal length. I want to make sure that I get the branches and the buds in focus. I'm not too concerned about the background, so I'm just going to do the two shots and stack them in post there. But yeah, so see how the day works out. Mosquitoes are interrupting us. I'm going to carry on these trails. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning still. I got here pretty early. I'm going to walk around, see if we can see any shots. You know, it is vast here, so every time you come you venture down a different trail and see if you can see any images. It isn't easy to see images. It's not like in my previous video where I had the boardwalk, I had the old tree stump, and I had the, you know, I could go really wide and get the sunburst in. It's just not like that in this location. You have to look and work a bit harder, but putting this 70-200 on, it's going to help us out with that. You know, I'm going to be able to focus in on shots rather than looking at the bigger picture. So that's one tip for you. Try out different focal lengths in areas you've been before, and you'll be quite surprised what images you start to see. I go out every couple of days to do my morning exercise, get out the city. You know, it's great. It's only 15-20 minutes from where I live, so it's absolutely ideal. You know, if I come early on, I can have the place to myself, along with these mosquitoes. So enjoy the video, and I'll speak to you again further up the trail. So I was just looking through into the forest there because it is dark in here this morning. So I'm looking for these areas where they've got patches of light breaking in, and I've came across these trees. Now they've got really thick trunks, but they're also coated in this green moss. We've got this morning light just catching the edges. I think it'll make a really nice image. So I'm zoomed in, I'm quite a bit away. I'm zoomed into 180mm. I'm at ISO 320, and that should be just enough to get this shot. I'm at f8. There's no need to focus stack because I'm so far away, and we'll see how this works out and carry on with the walk. So basically that's a tip for you. You know, if you're in places like this and it is so dense and there's a lot of deadfall about. You know, look for areas where there's light and see if there's images within that light. So I took them couple of images first thing this morning when I got here. You know, we didn't have any morning sunlight. It is overcast today, so we didn't have any sunshine coming in. The two shots that I took, there was some gaps in the trees, so it actually added a bit of highlight onto the trunks and the moss, and you know, where I wanted some light. There isn't much of a breeze today, so that's great, you know, especially when you're in the forest and you've got that moss moving, because it is very delicate and it's light, so it moves easy. But there's no breeze whatsoever today. So what that's allowed us to do, it's actually allowed us to use a slow shutter speed. And because of that, it means I can keep my ISO a bit further down rather than bumping it right up. I have noticed a lot of trees in this area. They've been on fire at some point. You know, you'll have one tree and all the trees around it are perfectly fine. So what I'm gathering is that they've been struck by lightning at some point and the trees just simply been burnt out. They're dotted about all over the forest. So obviously when there's storms and you get lightning, it must trigger fires. That actually was a tree originally, but another tree has grew out of it. So it's actually using that as a source of food, and you can see all the roots of the new growth in amongst all the old growth. I'm going to see if I can get some video now. I did hear a lot of woodpeckers earlier on. It's a bit quiet at the moment, but fingers crossed I get to show you some wildlife. Nice view of the river down there. So I've continued along this trail. Now I haven't been down this part of the trail before. It obviously leads down to the river. So I'm going to walk this little bit of trail and see if I can come across any images. It is slim pickings, unfortunately, for images today. Well, that's the way it's working out anyway. But really enjoying the walk. There's no light coming in as such. It is really overcast, but I'm going to venture down here and then probably head back up into the forest. There's actually another side to the river you can get to, and you can go right down to the river, so I might have a look down there. Well, I've walked as far as I'm going to walk on this trail. I haven't bothered going down to the river because I've actually noticed that a lot of the greenery's died off now. You know, you can see the mosses here. They're not as lush green as the other side of the forest that I've been to before. It's, you know, it's nice and quiet. We're not getting any sunlight coming in. It still is overcast. So rather than waste more time going down to the river, because I'm going to have to come all the way back up, I'm going to head back into the forest where I was earlier, have a good look around. Yeah, I'm struggling for images today, but we all have days like that, and you've just got to enjoy the moment and enjoy the adventure. So let's head on further up this trail and see if we can see any more images today. Well, I've stopped off for a breather, but I've also stopped off to share something with you. Something that happened further back on the trail there. Absolutely amazing. What an experience. Just didn't expect it, totally unexpected. But I captured it, and I'm going to be able to share that now with you guys. So I was trying to get some video for you of some wildlife, and I seen a tree creeper going up this tree. And they're quite hard to video because they move about quite a lot, quite fast. So I didn't actually get a shot of it. But on a tree to my left hand side, I noticed that there was a couple of, I think the red-breasted sapsuckers, I think. Don't quote us on that. You can, if I'm wrong, you can leave it in a comment below. So I was videoing this sapsucker, and it was quite great. I was like, oh cool, I've got some video. And then all of a sudden this pileated woodpecker flew past us. It stopped in a tree a bit away from us on the right hand side. So I turned round the camera and I pointed it up into the trees, focused in on it and got a bit of video, and I thought, oh great, you know, it wasn't brilliant, you couldn't see the full bird because it was in amongst the branches, and you know, it was moving about quite a lot. And then it hopped down onto a branch closer to us. Now, just in front of us, there was this old dead log, and it had obviously had a lot of activity regarding woodpeckers because you could see all the holes. Sorry, the mosquitoes are attacking us. You could see all the holes. It was quite an old tree, so the bark was really soft. So I kept my eye on this pileated woodpecker, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it flew down straight onto the side of this log. I was absolutely blown away. You know, I've never in my life, in all my time in British Columbia, I've never been that close to a pileated woodpecker. So I was just standing there, you know, I got the camera set up, focused in on the bird, and I literally stayed there for a good 10 minutes just videoing this bird, just watching it look for bugs in the tree. I had to pinch myself. It was quite an experience, and to be able to show you guys, you know, it's all the better because it really was amazing. You know, I know from the past when I have done nature photography, because I have done it before, I've dabbled in it, there's times you have to sit there for hours upon end. You know, that's another reason I don't really do a lot of nature photography anymore. You know, some people sit in the woods for weeks to get one photograph. You know, I really admire them people, but it's not for me. I'd rather just keep walking and keep active. So enjoy this bit of footage, enjoy it as much as I did, because I was absolutely over the moon, as you can tell. You know, it's totally made my day. in all the excitement of being so close to this pileated woodpecker, can you believe it? I never even took an image. It was just a second thought. I was just so wrapped up in watching this pileated woodpecker, watching nature at work, that you know what, an image just didn't matter. You know, what can be better than showing you the bird in action, looking for bugs in the tree. It would have been nice to get an image, but you know what, I'm not that fussed. I'm not that fussed, to be honest, because video speaks louder than an image sometimes, and I'm just glad I captured it, and not many people get that close. I'm just heading down towards the river now, following this trail. I'm going to have a walk along the river, back up through the forest at the other side. I don't think there's going to be any more images. You know, it's more or less midday now. So I'm back up into the forest. I walked down to the river there. The sunlight got pretty harsh, so I didn't see any shots. But I kind of knew that before I went down there, but I wanted to walk that bit of trail again anyways, because it's a really nice walk down by the river. So I've headed back up into the forest. As you can see, it's a lot more overcast now. Beautifully quiet. It's really quiet. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the day. I don't think we're going to get any more light. You know, best part of the good light's gone. Not that we had much this morning, but it was still nice all the same. Hopefully I've got a couple of images to show you. I've definitely got some video to show you of the pileated woodpecker. That absolutely made my day, you know. I was over the moon. You can probably tell by my face that I was really pleased to get that video footage. Forest photography, it's not as easy as it looks. You have got to put the work in, and I've found that this stretch of forest that I've been today is really hard because there's so much deadfall around. I think next time, obviously I'm going to come back here because I know it's safe and it's quiet and it's not far from my house. But I'm going to venture over to the other side of the forest. You know, it is really vast, like I said earlier, but there seems to be a bit more greenery and more older trees to photograph, whereas here's, I don't know, it's not as nice as the other side, but you've got to try it. It's all an adventure. You've got to keep looking at different areas to see if you can find any images. So I am going to call it an end to the day now. I'm going to walk back. It shouldn't take us too long to walk back to the car. It's about 2 kilometres, I think. I've walked 6 kilometres. According to my phone, I've walked 6 kilometres today, so that's been a good day's exercise. There's one thing I've found in the forest, you know, you have got to search for compositions and search for images, but you've also got to have luck on your side. If it's not the best weather, you know, you're not going to get the best images. A bit of mist in here, a bit of fog, and it's a game changer, along with the light. So if you'd like to subscribe, you know, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. Leave a comment below, like I said earlier, if you want to see more wildlife and stuff like that. Let us know what you want to see in my video and we'll see what we can do. So join us again for another video. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, bye bye.